everyone, we're back out in the shop today. I'm going to be finishing up this 7-inch Bowie knife. First, I'm going to be finishing up the blade, and I'll take it up to around a 600 grit finish. Next, I'll etch it in ferric chloride acid and see what the hamon looks like. Later in the video, I'll be constructing a handle out of brass and stacked leather and securing it all with a threaded brass tang nut. So let's get to it. After a healthy bit of hand sanding, I'm up to a 600 grit finish on the blade and I'm ready to etch it in acid. I go through a cycle of dipping the blade in acid for about a minute or so. I pull it out and then I scrub all the oxides off with steel wool, and I'll repeat that process several times until I'm happy with the look of the finish. Alright, this hamon turned out absolutely awesome. I love the look of this. I'm super happy with the finish. I realized I didn't do any grinding on the front or back side of the tang when I had my file guide on there. So I'm gonna have to do that now and clean up that transition line before I start fitting up a brass guard. It also looks like from the etch that the tang is hard, so that might be a little bit rough with the file, but I think it'll be all right. So first I'm gonna clean that up, then I'm gonna get the blade all taped up, and I'll start working on the guard fit up and constructing the rest of the handle. So let's get to it. Alright, as you can see, I've cleaned up these transition points where the guard is going to meet the blade. I've also cut off the excess length of the tang. I'm going to grind a slot down the center and weld in some 1024 all thread, and that's what the tang nut is going to secure to at the end of the handle. The reason I cut the slot as opposed to just welding it onto the end is giving a much longer contact point. I think makes it a much stronger bond and makes it more durable long term. I survived the guard fit up. It's probably one of my least favorite things to do. It's just kind of laborious and you got to use little files and you don't really have good leverage and it kind of just takes time. But if you take your time, especially with brass, it's softer, you get it really, really close to fitting and then you can kind of just pound it into place and it'll sort of just make that transition line disappear right around the blade. So I'm really happy with this. It looks really nice. I'll give you some close-up shots of this. I'll cut the slot, I'll weld on the all thread, and then I will stack up the leather, get the shoulders drilled on the pommel, and then I can get everything dry fit, and then we'll glue it up. Before I do all that, I am going to want to finish the face of the guard, because I'm not going to be able to really get to that very well once everything's glued up. Everything else with the shaping I can do once I've got the whole handle constructed. But I'm going to take the face of this up to probably 320 or 400 grit. We'll see how it looks. I like a working finish. You know, I don't really want my knives to go sit on a shelf somewhere. I would much rather, you know, give the user permission to use it out in the field, you know, use it day to day. And so putting a working finish on it, I think tends to let the person know, hey, I should use this knife. I don't want to set it on a case and look at it. So anyway, I will get to all that next. This is one of my favorite parts of making a knife, shaping the handle. I've got this epoxy cured overnight. I'm gonna square everything up first, then I'll draw in a design and kind of start shaping like a Coke bottle style handle. So let's get to it. That's going to wrap it up for this video. I finished up the handle on this 7-inch Bowie knife. The brass and the leather look absolutely phenomenal together. I love this look. And the hamon on the blade is just out of this world. I love the way that this turned out. So I'm really happy with this build. In my next video, I'm going to be sharpening it up, putting an edge on it, and I'll be making a leather sheath for it. If you're interested in having a knife made, you can reach out through the contact form at my website, davidmoonforge.com, or you can send me a message on Instagram at davidmoonforge. Thanks for sticking around to the end of the video. Hopefully I'll see you in the next build.